and this is my channel, Bar911970. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And as usual, I just want to let people know that if you have a Google Plus account, and if you don't, I highly recommend you do it. If you follow me on Google Plus, you are going to be able to get notifications of when I upload a video, and they're definitely making it a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. So if you don't have one, that's not something that I require. It's something that YouTube requires if you want to get the notifications. So if you can follow me on Google Plus, then I'll make sure you get the notifications when a video is uploaded. So with that being said, those of you who watch my channel know that I kind of sit back, watch what's going on, and then formulate my own opinions of what I see. And I wanted to say, actually, it's actually kind of funny. One of my videos is actually going semi-viral, and that's the video about the Donald Trump crowds versus the Hillary Clinton crowds. It's currently got about 35,000 views, and it's only a week old today. So I'm happy to see that. So people are starting to pay attention. Now, if you haven't seen the video I did about a week and a half ago, talking about what I think the plan is, about as far as Obama potentially getting a third term or there being potential riots in the streets, I really think this is being set up from both sides. I wish I didn't think that way. I really wish Donald Trump was the answer that everybody's been looking for, but because of the research I've done for years and how I know how the system works, it's just, for me, all things happen for a reason in politics, to set the people up, and they base it on your emotions to get you to trust them. So this time you think it's going to be different. And you see plenty of people, even though what happened about a month ago, they proved that Bernie Sanders actually had no chance of becoming president because the elections were rigged and they wanted to make sure Hillary got in. I made a video back in November of 2015 saying how Hillary was going to be in, and that's before they even started the primaries. So if you know how the system works, you can catch it. Now, what have I noticed lately? And I want to do a screen share really quick to something so you guys can see this website. And of course, I will post the link once the video has been uploaded. All right, so we're on the screen share right now. Now, if you see this website, they're saying, Anonymous sends warning to Donald Trump as Hitler's troll army prepares for the steal. Now, I've talked about the fact, and this is an article, you could read this. Basically, they said that Anonymous is warning people, and they're warning Donald Trump about what's going on. Now, if you notice, and I've been watching every one of his speeches, he does not mention what's really going on. Now, of course, he's talked about the fact that there's corruption, that it's rigged, and the media is, dishonest. But you'd think at this point, because, he does a lot of his messages on Twitter, and he takes advantage of the social network, so he knows what's going on. And I know people are going to his sites posting videos, and I'm sure he has people checking it out. The fact that he has not stated anything about these quote-unquote conspiracy theories makes me wonder. And I've said all along, I really think they're working together. And as you could see by the photo on the screen, you could see Donald Trump, Bill Clinton. The Clintons are friends. They are actually, Hillary and Donald Trump are cousins, but they are 19th cousins. So that's not exactly, extremely close, but it's still, they're related. And I had a video I made a couple of days ago saying their real relationship, and you can hear it from Donald Trump's mouth himself, that they are friends, that he's known them for years. He's donated millions of dollars to her cause. Now they're putting on a play. And the fact that Donald Trump has not even put out there in public these quote-unquote conspiracy theories about how they're setting up Hillary to become president, no matter what, is a cause for alarm. And in my opinion, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really think they are working together. You have the good cop, bad cop scenario, and they're setting everybody up. Now, of course, remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you have to go vote, and I've said so many times, and I have a video I made the other day that proves how votes don't count, you have to go there to register. You have to check that box that says, are you a U.S. citizen? And if you don't know the legal definition of that term, you don't know what you're doing to yourself. And I really think what's happening is you have Donald Trump being the good cop, saying he's everything that you want to hear, saying how he's going to change the system. Everybody's rallying behind him. Everybody's excited about it. Then for the first time in any politician anywhere, any event anywhere that has to do with politicians, they're all of a sudden, all this information's coming out just on one side towards Hillary to make her seem like the bad guy. All people in politics are corrupt. There are no homeless people that become Republican or Democrat. There's only wealthy people, and money is what keeps laws from ever seeing the light of day or having laws that help people that are wealthy. It's frustrating to me that the average person out there just is so hopeful that Donald Trump is going to be the answer. How quickly we forget that Obama, wasn't he the savior? I mean, people were crying in the streets when Obama became president for the first time. And it's funny how Obama has been saying that Donald Trump doesn't have any experience. Can anyone explain and show me Obama's long track record of government working before he became president? What was he, a senator for like 5 minutes before all of a sudden he became president? So, in my opinion, Obama's not stepping down. Hillary has a potential indictment coming because they're putting out more and more emails, which I find funny that WikiLeaks only finds stuff about Hillary. They're saying they can't find anything about Donald Trump. They can't find anything about the Republican Party. Are you telling me, ladies and gentlemen, that the Republican Party is squeaky clean? You know how much everybody hated the Republican Party when Obama first got into office? Now all of a sudden they're the saviors? Remember how many people hated Fox News and how many people now all of a sudden love them? Do you think they're not doing this on purpose to set things up? It's frustrating to me, and I've had people say, well, why do you get so emotionally involved in this? I'll explain why. If I was on the Titanic and I knew that we were about to hit an iceberg and it was going to sink the ship, killing us all, and I tried to tell everybody about this, and they all ignored it, they all thought I was crazy, I'm on that boat too. So if they don't listen, and I'm on that boat, I'm going to get affected as well. So I'm going to read a couple of comments. We got Jason Tapa says, and welcome, says, war will be escalated and Obama won't step down. No, and there won't be war, there'll be riots, and I'll explain, I've said it before. But he also says, you don't get the money Trump has unless you sell your soul. Trump and Hillary are fourth cousins. From what I've heard, they're 19th cousins, but it doesn't matter, they're related nonetheless. Ray Clay 2 says, hello, bar none, hello. Says, these crooks are simply becoming blatant. How could Obama even spend our money campaigning for that crooked Hillary? Because they work together. She must have the goods on him as well. No, they work together. Notice how Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are looking into each other's eyes and smiling. And you see Hillary there with a big smile on her face. It's all about money. It's all about making people think this is the time. They've been doing this for years. And the frustrating part for me is when this all goes down, we all suffer. And we don't have to because we're seeing the warning signs. So if we stop it beforehand, if you're on the train tracks and you see a train coming and you stand there, I don't care how many people are standing behind you, you're all just going to get killed together. But if you get off the tracks, you don't have to worry. And I'm trying to help people to get off the tracks and let them know Donald Trump is not going to save you the way you think he is. He is used as the good cop. He's trying to get everybody to realize that the media is corrupt, which I've been saying for over 5 years, that the politicians are all bought and paid for. I've been saying that for over 5 years, that the political government is nothing but corrupt. I've been saying this. So he's pointing it out to the average people out there that don't research this stuff and don't know it. So they're going to get emotionally attached to Donald Trump. And they're going to think, wow, this person's saying everything that we want to hear. He's going to be the one. We're going to rally against him. We're going to donate all our money. We're going to spread the truth. We're going to say, never Hillary. But yet the media is making her out to be the savior. And the people are being programmed through Donald Trump. And when Hillary Clinton becomes president, or at least gets elected to become president, the people are going to riot. They're going to say they want revolutions. I've already seen it in some of the comments in my videos. People said if Donald Trump doesn't become president, they're going to riot. So they're setting everybody up. And what do you think is going to happen if they riot. Because remember, November 8th is the election. November 9th, they give the results. If neither one of them doesn't become president until January when they get sworn in. So remember, from November to January, Obama is still president. So if there's some coincidental terrorist attack, and I put that in quotations, or Hillary ends up getting indicted, or Hillary becomes too sick to continue, well, then Obama would have a way to create martial law. Well, supposedly reinstate it, but it's been there since the 1800s. And I think what's going to happen is they're setting people up. They're getting everybody on emotion, because I tell people, if you don't think logically and you use nothing but emotion, you are going to be suckered easily by these people. They can borrow, supposedly, billions of dollars from a Federal Reserve Bank, which is a private-owned entity that's not owned by anything other than shareholders that have the banks already. And yet, they can give millions of dollars to people all around the world, but yet the people here are starving. There's 110 million Americans on welfare. They talk about the jobs reports, but meanwhile, they don't tell you about the fact that most of them are part-time workers. And if you're no longer looking for a job after a certain time, I think it's either 3 months or 6 months, you are no longer considered unemployed statistically. These are the people you want to trust, and it's just frustrating to me because, I mean, I don't really have to worry. I've been prepared for over 5 years. The people that just don't get it, they're going to find out the hard way. You know, think of it from a biblical perspective. Think about Noah's Ark, okay? Noah's Ark, the story of Noah's Ark is God sent down a message saying there's going to be a great flood, and he took him to build a boat and take 2 of every animal to save them for the destruction. And while he was building the boat, and if you can remember the movie that, what was it? Not, well, you know the one I'm talking about, where Steve, I forget his name, builds the ark and everybody's laughing at him and making fun of him. Well, that's all well and good that they made fun of him because nothing had happened at that point. But once the flood happened, well, try and build a boat then. So I've been prepared for this for a long time because I've always said better to be 5 years too early than 5 seconds too late. Because once a flood comes, building a boat at that point, you can't do it. So yes, you could build a boat 5 years too early and people think you're weird, and people think you're stupid, and people think you're wasting your money, and it's crazy because nothing's happened yet. But once it does, they're going to be wishing they had that boat. So I'm not talking about an actual literal flood. I'm talking about the fact that, in my opinion, Donald Trump is there to set you up to be the good guy, that he's going to say everything that you want to hear. He's giving you some truthful information to sucker you in, so you'll all wave your flags and you all think this time the votes are going to count, even though in this very election with Bernie Sanders, they've already proven that they select who they're going to pick. Why is it people have this memory loss and think, oh, it's not going to happen? That if everybody goes to vote, what that's going to do is going to get extra people to vote. Everybody's going to vote for Trump. They're going to try and show that they don't want Hillary. And when Hillary becomes president anyway, at least elected, even though she's been selected, the people are going to be pissed off. And what do people do when they're pissed off? They get into groups, and all of a sudden you only need one saboteur in the crowd who starts everything. It becomes an emotional roller coaster, and they go on a destruction spree. And what does Obama have to do? He has to create a state of emergency. He has to supposedly put martial law, and then he has an excuse to have another term. If that's what you want, do nothing. Continue to think your votes are going to count. You're going to find out the hard way. And let's put it this way. I want to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I will be proud if Donald Trump becomes president and all of a sudden everything's wonderful and we have this wonderful utopia and he keeps all the promises that he says. I will be more than happy to put on my camera, show my face, and say, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. I have no problem with that because if I'm wrong, that means things are getting better. You don't think I want that? I mean, I'm not saying this stuff because I want to make up a good story. I'm seeing it because I've been studying this stuff for years. I know how the system works. You know, when I made that video on November of 2015 saying how Hillary Clinton is going to be president, it was based on comic books. It sounds silly, but I know how it works. They program you through media. And all of a sudden, I started noticing that every superhero was starting to turn female. all the movies were female oriented. They're trying to get you to get used to the fact that women are strong and in power. Now, who's the only person that's going to fit that mold? That's Hillary. So I knew before they even started the primaries that she was going to be selected to become president. And it's still going to happen. So the fact that Donald Trump hasn't said anything about this stuff. I mean, I'll put a challenge to you. When you watch this video, take this video and post it on Donald Trump's website. Go on his Twitter account and say, listen, there's a video here where they're saying people think that you are part of the equation and you're going to help Hillary become president. If he doesn't acknowledge it and doesn't say anything at all and just ignores it, that says everything that you need to know. But people, you got to wake up. We cannot be this trusting. I've said it before and I've said it again. If the government has been nothing but helpful and they keep their word and they're doing their best to make America wonderful, or as Trump likes to say, make America great again, which means it's not great now, but if you listen to everybody like Obama, they're telling you how everything is so wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful if you are a person that gets to play golf all the time, who gets millions of dollars and is, president of the United States. Yeah, I'm sure it's great for them. What about the people that are wondering in the wintertime, do we spend what money we have on food or for warmth? That's not too wonderful for them. And 110 million Americans, that's over 33 to 35% of the population is on welfare. That suggests to me things aren't going wonderful. So why is Trump ignoring this? There's a reason for it. If you want to keep waving your flags, if you want to say, oh, the votes are going to count, it doesn't matter. If you don't get it, you're going to find out the hard way, and then it will be too late. Because what do you think will happen if Obama creates martial law? Do you think you can do anything then when the military is around your door, when police are telling you you have a curfew and if you don't go in, you'll get shot? What are you going to do then? Fight back? I keep telling people you cannot fight fire with fire, and people do not want to learn. If they have martial law, and I hope it doesn't happen, and I don't want to talk about this, but this is the reality that we all seem to be wanting because we're not changing it. And I can only do so much. So I'm going to end the video here. If you want to share it and get this out there, by all means, help contribute. If you want to do nothing or just wave your flags and say, oh, I'm going to just put my trust in Trump because, he's an honorable person. Because, when you work, let me tell you something. I lived with a person that was in construction since I was 10 years old. I know how they do all the schemes. I know how they have to bribe all the people that do the inspections to get things done and pass things that would not normally pass. I was surrounded by people in construction all of my life. I started construction when I was 10 years old. Donald Trump is bragging about how he's around those people and he's more comfortable with those people. Trust me on this. He's greased a lot of palms to get where he is and to get things done. And if you want to think he's now going to be a savior, then you're fooling yourselves. And as usual, instead of taking responsibility for your own actions, you're putting it on the shoulders of somebody else and hoping they will do the right thing. A fool and their money is soon parted. And a person that wants to be free has to put in the effort. And people seem to not want to do that. So I'm sure this will be another video that'll get maybe 300-400 views. I've gotten 200 subscribers in the past 24 hours. My last video has about 300 views. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, it's a good cop, bad cop scenario, and people are falling for it, and it's just embarrassing at this point. I mean, I am not even a college graduate. I'm a high school graduate. But you know what? I spent my time in the past 5 years learning things about admiralty law and learning about legal definitions and learning about how words have certain meanings, learning how the history of money works. This is all setting up for the dollar to crash in the end. They want you distracted. While the people are rioting in the streets, China is still building up all of their gold reserves, and eventually China is going to have the potential ability to have a world currency. And by the time you realize it, there's nothing you can do. And you'll have your dollars, and they'll say, oh, you want the new power, the new yuan or whatever currency they make? Oh, okay, your $1, we'll give you 1 cent or 10 cents worth of this new product. And you'll lose 90% of your value overnight. You have gold and silver, you protect yourself. But people don't want to hear that because nothing's happened yet. You're living under an active volcano that hasn't erupted, so you think tomorrow is going to be the same as yesterday. It can be, but the day that it erupts, you're going to be wishing you weren't stupid enough to live under an active volcano, because by then you can't do anything. It's the same thing with these situations. I've been warning people now for over a year what's happening. People have ignored it, and they will continue to ignore it. But I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm not going to sit here and say I told you so, because I won't be around to have that happen. So what you guys do is up to you. If you want to share it, that's great. If you want to thumb it up, that's perfect. But I'm telling you, go to Trump's website and ask him, why are you not acknowledging what people are worried about? The fact that Obama might get a third term based on the fact that they might indict Hillary after she gets elected, or quote unquote elected, and then Obama will create martial law. Or the people may riot because they're trusting you, Donald Trump. So I'm calling Donald Trump out. I'm just a regular person. If I'm wrong, that's fine. But if I'm right, people are going to be pretty pissed off at what happens to him after that. And it's not my fault. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments. If you want to share it, that's great. If you want to hit subscribe, that's wonderful. Check out my other videos and learn what's really going on. I'm not doing this to get popular. I'm not doing it just to make up a nice story. I'm doing it because I know what I'm talking about. I'm not right all the time because I'm not part of the corruption. But if you see the pattern of what I've been talking about, it makes more sense than doesn't. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend.